NASA is looking for new explorers to join the next class of astronauts in training. And beginning today, new applications are being accepted. Joining us now via satellite, a recent graduate, Jessica Watkins. Also, the astronaut selection manager, Ann Roemer. Welcome. Good to have you with us this afternoon. And I just want to let you know I come at this as someone who signed up for the journalism and space program way back in the 80s. So I'm all in favor of people getting involved in all this. And let me start with you if I can. First, who are you looking for? Who is that candidate for this program?
We are looking for individuals who have completed a master's degree or higher in a STEM field, science, technology, engineering, or math. Folks with at least 2 years of professional experience beyond that, and all around well-rounded people.
And Jessica, you are in the program now, so talk a little bit about the selection process itself. It's the entry level, it's a high bar, then it gets even higher, doesn't it? Talk a little bit about what's required then once you are accepted.
Yes, so the application process itself involves kind of the technical competency that Ann was describing, and then there is an interview process that looks more at some of the softer skills and team skills aspects that are so important to this job. Once being selected, we go into a 2-year training period where we train on anything from how to perform spacewalks to learning to fly jets to learning the Russian language. So it's been a lot of fun.
A little bit too big picture on the future here, because we are sort of at an important juncture here of where the U.S. space program goes next. We have the International Space Station right here now, but there are some very interesting and frankly exciting initiatives out there, going back to the moon, possibly going to Mars at some point. Does that all figure into the selection process as well, Ann?
It does, right? This is an exciting time for NASA. We're returning to launching U.S. astronauts on U.S. rockets from U.S. soil. We certainly have our sights set on the moon and, as you mentioned, Mars. So this is a great time to be at NASA, and we're hoping we'll get lots of people who express interest in becoming an astronaut.
And Jessica, real quickly to you. So what's next? Where are you hoping to be bound next?
Oh yes, myself and my classmates would be happy to be assigned to any mission, no matter where that might be. As you mentioned, there's lots of opportunities, and it's just a super exciting time to be in human spaceflight.
I think you are absolutely right about that, and it was awfully nice to talk to both of you. We really appreciate it, and best of luck, and hope it's a big class of incoming astronauts in training. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Moving and uncertain. Can you hear us? It is from a business standpoint and
yes,
from
we have you loud and clear.
Already, major institutions are starting to scale back growth projections. Worth pointing out, as we reported last week, Goldman Sachs is already projecting 0 profit growth.
You're about 30 seconds out
For the entire year. Back to you.
All right, Laz, we will see how that plays out. We'll see you at 1 o'clock.
I stand by.
All right, looking for a career in space? Well, if you haven't yet, NASA actually is hiring. And if you've ever dreamt of being an astronaut, this is now your chance.
Hasn't everybody?
I have not.
Well, it turns out NASA is hiring a new class of astronauts for its Artemis missions, which aims to set up a station on the moon and also send people to the Mars. And joining us for now are an actual astronaut, Jessica Watkins, and NASA astronaut selection manager, Ann Roemer. Ladies, good morning.
Good morning.
And the last time they hired a new class of astronauts, it received 18,000 applications. Obviously, a lot of folks probably were not qualified. What exactly is the list of requirements that you need to be an astronaut?
So we require that candidates have a master's degree or higher in a STEM field, science, technology, engineering, or math. and 2 years of professional experience beyond that degree. We also require U.S. citizenship, as we're a government agency. And beyond that, we're looking for really well-rounded people who have, good skills in leadership, followership, communications, etc.
Jessica, let's talk about your job, how long you've been an astronaut, and what your day-to-day job is like.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was selected as part of the astronaut candidate class in 2017. The most recent class. So we did about 2.5 years of training upon arriving here in Houston at the Johnson Space Center. So that training was really variable. We were training on all kinds of vehicles and systems, from learning how to perform a spacewalk to learning how to fly jets and even learning the Russian language. So our job means that no day is the same.
All right, obviously you got to be smart. You got to be physically fit. I would assume you also need to be pleasant around other people, because you're stuck in some tight quarters there for a long time.
Yeah, that might be one of the most important things, right? Looking for people that could travel for a long duration together to various missions.
And let's talk about how people can apply, and how long does that hiring process take?
So people can apply at usajobs.gov. The vacancy announcement is posted there. We anticipate that we will announce the next class of NASA astronauts in the summer of 2021 timeframe, early summer. So it takes us a while.
Okay. It turns out there's actually 29 astronauts that were born here in California. That's more than any other state. Why do you think that is? Is it something with the water or what?
I don't know, but we hope we'll see lots of applicants from California again, so you can keep up your track record.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations on both of your successes, and we appreciate you talking with us this morning.
Thank you.
All right, again,
Thank
if you think you have what it takes to be an astronaut, you can apply at usajobs.gov, and for additional information.
All right, you're clear. Thank you.
.gov/astronaut.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Going with this?
Yep. Sounds good.
All right, good deal. Okay, so I'm just going to start off. We'll make this quick. Start off with going through kind of the criteria for this new program and the applications that's starting, obviously, today.
Okay, so the criteria are pretty straightforward. We require U.S. citizenship because we're a federal government agency. We do require at least a master's degree in a STEM field, science, technology, engineering, or math. And then we also require an additional 2 years of experience to meet the minimum qualifications to apply.
Okay, and another question for you. How many applications do they usually get in this process? Do you have a number or around a number for that?
Sure. So last time we surpassed all previous records and received roughly 18,300 applications. We hired 12 candidates coming out of that. So we're into the unknown. I don't know how many we can expect this time.
Yeah, that definitely seems like a rigorous process there and quite competitive, which is great. And I guess this question is for you, Jessica. What is the training process kind of like?
Yeah, our training process is 2 years once you arrive here in Houston at the Johnson Space Center. And our training focuses on kind of 5 main aspects. So we learn how to fly the T-38 jet. We learn how to perform spacewalks. We learn the Russian language, We learn how to operate the robotics that are on the International Space Station, and then we learn the systems that are associated with the ISS as well. And then in addition to that, we also have expeditionary training, working on our team skills, and including geology training, which is particularly fun for me.
And in the release, it said that you guys are looking forward to putting the first woman on the moon and the next man on the moon. Can you guys talk about that just a little bit?
Sure, yes. It's definitely an exciting time in human spaceflight. We are looking forward to putting boots on the moon and really coming together towards that effort in 2024. We also have a couple of new vehicles coming online to get us to the International Space Station via the Commercial Crew Program. So those are the Boeing and SpaceX vehicles as well. So we have a lot going on here at NASA, which is why we're looking forward to some extra help.
Great. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You too.
Ready? Everybody ready? Oh, very good. Hi, Ann. Hi, Jessica. How are you?
Hi, doing well, Mike. Thanks for having us.
Fine, thank you.
All right. All right. Now, well, if you guys are ready, we'll get going here in just a second.
Sounds good.
Is there a lengthy delay, Chris? All right, here we go. Well, and the application process opens today. What are you looking for in a good astronaut candidate?
So I think we can start with the initial requirements. Candidates have to have completed a master's degree in a STEM field, science, technology, engineering, or math. They have to have at least 2 years of professional experience beyond their degree. And then they also have to be a U.S. citizen as a federal government agency. Beyond that, we're looking for good, well-rounded people who do well in team settings.
How many applicants do you expect to get, and how do you whittle it down to the final number of NASA astronauts that'll actually be astronauts?
So if the last selection cycle is any indication, we had 18,300 applicants, which was just a few more than we were originally anticipating. But we take each application very seriously. We realize that a lot of people who apply, it's been a dream to be an astronaut, perhaps for their whole life. And so we whittle the applications down very carefully.
Dr. Watkins, you are an astronaut. You've gone through the process. What's it like?
Yes, so the interview process actually was really a lot of fun, really interesting for me. One of the best parts about the interview process was getting to meet the other interviewees. So when you come down to Houston, you come down with a group of 10 or so other individuals, and just getting to meet them and hear all of their stories and all of the amazing things that they've done was definitely the highlight for me.
The Artemis mission, Dr. Watkins, is so important. We're going back to the moon, and we will send the first American woman to the moon. How significant a moment will that be?
Oh, it will absolutely be significant for NASA and for the whole country, and for the world as well. It will be a really momentous occasion for us, and we're all really looking forward to it and working hard to make that 2024 deadline happen. We're really excited.
And for people that want to apply, how do they do it?
You can apply at usajobs.gov, and we will be accepting applications through March 31st.
Awesome stuff. Ladies, thank you so much. And Jessica, great to talk.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
There they are. I can see them both. Can you guys hear me? Wave if you can hear me. Oh, wow, look at that. Okay, I'm going to guess in the red. Ann, is that you?
Yeah, I think the lack of a blue flight suit gives that away, though.
Well, I'm very excited to talk to you. We are going to record this interview, and I'll start, Ann, with you asking to kind of spell out what the whole mission is, and then Jessica, I'm going to get to you, okay?
Sounds great.
All right.
Okay, a little bit of a delay, which I always hate, but what are you going to do? It's space. Oh, man. All right. The delay is crazy. All right, I'm going to start. Here we go. It's not every day you get to talk to folks at NASA about space exploration, and I want to start with you to sort of take us through what the purpose of this mission is. We're starting with the moon, but we're looking beyond. Tell us a little bit about who you're looking for.
Sure. So NASA right now, as of this morning, is accepting applications for the next class of astronauts. We are looking for candidates that have completed their master's degree in a STEM field, science, technology, engineering, or math, have at least 2 years of professional experience beyond the degree, and are U.S. citizens currently, as we're a government agency. Beyond that, we're looking for folks who are competent with teamwork, leadership, et cetera, because we're looking forward to, as you mentioned, going back to the moon and hopefully onto Mars.
Well, this sounds like, every kid's dream come true. Jessica, you're from Maryland and Colorado and worked at the California Institute of Technology. You went through this training program and you got that once in a lifetime chance. Tell us what it was like for you to go through this program, how you were selected, and what you're doing now.
Sure, yes. So I definitely was one of those kids growing up who always wanted to be an astronaut. And so I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to apply in 2017 and went through the interview process here at the Johnson Space Center and then was selected. And following selection, we did about 2 years of kind of basic initial training. So no day has been the same since arriving here. You can find us doing anything from learning how to perform spacewalks to learning the Russian language to learning how to fly jets. So it's been a really, really fun time, and I'm super excited to be a part of the team.
Well, you're wearing the flight suit. You sort of, look the part here. Is it everything that you dreamed it would be, or has it been, sort of beyond the realm of what you could have even possibly imagined?
Oh, certainly the latter. I still wake up and have to pinch myself to make sure that it's real. It's just such an awesome opportunity and quite an honor to be able to work with the large team of people that make human spaceflight happen here at NASA.
Well, and this sounds like it's something like winning the lottery here. So a lot of people, I think, would have the same dream that Jessica had. Help our viewers right now figure out how they can make themselves, if this is their dream, sort of stand out and make this their reality.
Sure. Well, they can start by applying, right? There's no chance of getting selected if you haven't applied, and applications are received at usajobs.gov, and we're looking for well-rounded people, right? So obviously competency in a technical area, but we have astronauts who have a wide range of experiences beyond that. So we have a lot on the job announcement that we hope people will review, and we hope they pursue their dream by applying.
Well, I know you both have busy lives there at NASA, and we're so grateful for the chance to learn about it. Good luck, Godspeed, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you again.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Jessica and Ann. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us today. This is Morgan McFall-Johnson with Business Insider.
Hi, Morgan.
Hi, Morgan.
Hi. So this one's for Ann. Beyond the written requirements, what are those qualities or skills that you're looking for when screening astronaut applications?
You know, surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, there's skills that probably the majority of jobs are looking for. Good leadership qualities, good followership qualities, the ability to interact with people, a strong depth in their technical discipline. So yeah, I mean, just everyday people skills.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and what is one of the most common mistakes that astronaut applicants make?
I think one of the most common mistakes that we see is that applicants don't provide enough information on their resumes when they apply, right? When you're looking at thousands of resumes, context matters, and right, even some unique hobbies and interests are sometimes the things that can make an applicant stand out.
Okay. And when it comes to interviewing, what is the single most important astronaut interview question for you, and why?
Well, I won't go into specific questions that we ask. I can tell you the most common piece of advice, and I think Jessica would echo this, right, that we give to those who may get invited to interview is to come in and be themselves, right? We're trying to assess, obviously, competencies that are important to the job, but the astronauts who are sitting around the table are trying to figure out whether they would want to fly in space with the folks who are interviewing. And so, you know, I think just coming in and putting their best foot forward and being themselves is the best advice we can provide.
Absolutely. Another thing we're wondering about over here is how, if at all, does the commercial crew program play into the astronaut selection process this year?
Yes, so the commercial crew program, as you mentioned, is really getting off the ground, no pun intended, this year, and we're really excited about that. So that is definitely one of the possibilities in terms of missions that this new class will have the opportunity to be a part of. We're also really excited about the Artemis mission, the Artemis program, as well. So we're looking forward to putting the next woman and the first woman and the next man on the moon in 2024. So this class that gets selected is going to be coming in at a really exciting time in human spaceflight and have lots of opportunities.
Absolutely. And what about Space Force? How might that play into the round of astronaut selection this year?
So we partner with all of the military service branches, right? We obviously end up picking both kind of a combination of military and civilian applicants, and so Space Force will be one of those that we have reached out to this time.
Okay, and this question is for Jessica. Spaceflight is not for the faint of heart. Why are the risks worth it to you?
Yeah, so I think that the risk of human spaceflight that we kind of all take together as a team is worth it because it pushes the bounds of what humans are capable of and really pushes us to our limits. And I find that when we do that, it brings us together in ways that we otherwise wouldn't be capable of doing. And I think that aspect of bringing the international cooperation and kind of just the human aspect that we all kind of share in terms of this desire to explore that's really innate in us, that kind of bringing us together is what makes human spaceflight worth it.
Okay. And overall, what advice would you offer would-be applicants who think that they do have the right stuff?
Yeah, so I would echo what Anne said. I would definitely encourage them to be themselves and also to take the leap. I think if anybody is debating whether to apply, whether to put their resume in, I would definitely encourage them to put their name in the hat because you never know what could happen.
Okay, great. And this question is back to Anne. After the submission window closes, how exactly do you go about breaking down and assessing this stack of applicants that you have?
Very carefully. It's actually a multiple step process, right? We review resumes, we do multiple phases of interviews, etc. At each point, we treat every application that we're looking at very carefully, recognizing that, right, many applicants may have dreamed of becoming an astronaut for their whole lives. We anticipate that we will announce the next class of NASA astronauts in the early summer 2021 timeframe. So it takes us a while to go through all of them.
Absolutely. How many applications do you anticipate this year, and how does that compare to the last round?
Ooh, I feel like I could jinx myself if I answer that question. The last round we got 18,300 roughly, which was far more than I anticipated then. So I have no clue this time. I'm not even going to wager a guess.
Okay. How far away would you say, if at all, are we from a truly civilian astronaut corps?
That's an interesting question. So I am not sure that a truly civilian astronaut corps would necessarily be the goal. I think it's really important that the corps have lots of diversity in terms of diversity of experience and background. I think that really contributes to our ability to tackle these hard problems and explore the unknown. So I think as much diversity of experience as we can get, we are happy to have.
Absolutely. And Jessica, you mentioned international cooperation. What might this look like for this astronaut class?
Yes, so the astronauts who are selected for this class will certainly be expected to interact with our international partners in some way, potentially during their training, but certainly during future missions and as we look forward to our future programs.
Great. And another question for Jessica. What were some of the things that surprised you most when you were applying to be an astronaut?
When I was applying, well, certainly the outcome surprised me the most. I certainly did not expect to be sitting here today, but I'm super grateful for the opportunity. But during the interview process, I think something that I didn't fully expect was just how awesome it was to get to meet all of the other interviewees, getting to come down to Houston at the Johnson Space Center and spend a few days getting to know all of these amazing people that come from different backgrounds and expertise, and getting to spend time learning their stories was a real treat.
Absolutely. Okay. And speaking of different backgrounds and expertise, both of you have mentioned diversity of experience. How exactly are you looking to incorporate that into the program? What might that look like in this round of applications?
So we've always focused on diversity of experience, right? And that can mean a number of things, right? Varying technical disciplines, engineering as compared to, right, Jessica's background in the physical sciences. To your point earlier about civilian versus military applicants. Right, we're looking, I think for us it's important to come out with a class where we have the right pieces to assemble the crews that we need to go regardless of where the mission goes, whether that's back to the moon or certainly on to Mars.
Absolutely. Okay. And I mean, you mentioned going back to the moon and onto Mars, and we've talked a bit about the commercial crew program, but just to sum it all up a bit, what has changed between the last round of applications and now, and how does that affect the application review process?
So I think, as Jessica mentioned, it's an exciting time for human spaceflight right now, right? We certainly are closer than ever in a long time to launching U.S. astronauts from U.S. soil on U.S. rockets. And I think that opens the door to a variety of destinations. We've certainly identified going back to the moon and landing the first woman on the moon and returning a man to the moon. We talk about going on to Mars, et cetera. And so all of that will be in the forefront of our mind as we go through and pick this next group of astronauts.
Okay, great. Thank you both so much, Jessica and Ann. I really appreciate your time and getting the chance to talk with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ten years ago, Shuttle astronauts in the last 10 years have retired from NASA. Now, space agency is searching for the next generation of spacefarers. If you don't mind having roommates, you aren't afraid of heights, and you have a strong science and math background, this may be your chance to reach for the stars. Joining me now this afternoon are Jessica Watkins, astronaut, as well as Anne, pronounce your last name. Roemer or Roemer?
Roemer. Roemer.
Roemer. Anne Roemer. Thank you, Anne. How are you all this afternoon?
Doing well, thank you.
Fine, thank you.
It is a big day. Applications open from NASA this afternoon. This is the first time in 4 years the agency has started to really look for aspiring Moon to Mars explorers. Who is the perfect candidate you're looking at, Anne?
So we'll start with the basic qualifications, right? Candidates have to have a master's degree in a science, technology, engineering, or math field. They also have to have at least 2 years of professional experience beyond that degree. And as well, because we're a government agency, we do have to require U.S. citizenship. Beyond that, we're looking for good people skills, right? A good teammate, a good leader, a good follower, a good communicator as well. So some pretty common skill sets.
You have to be a pilot.
No, we still have pilot astronauts in that we use the T-38 as a training vehicle, and so pilots are welcome to apply. If applying as a pilot, they have to have a minimum of 1,000 hours of pilot in command type in a pilot in command hours in a high performance jet aircraft.
So NASA just graduated 11 men and women to the Astronaut Corps back in January after 2 years of training. More than 18,000 applications, though, were sent into NASA. How many would-be astronauts is NASA really looking for this time?
You know, I haven't heard a specific number. I've heard people say a handful. My best guess would be 8 to 12, roughly.
The criteria is pretty stringent. Jessica, you have a geology background.
That's correct.
Tell me, that obviously applies very well in this case. Tell me about some of the people that you have met within the Astronaut Corps. It really is a varied profession.
It absolutely is, and I think that's one of the things that makes our Astronaut Corps so strong is that we have that diversity of experience and expertise to bring to the table. So in our Astronaut Corps, we have medical doctors, engineers, scientists of various types, pilots, as we mentioned. I'm probably forgetting a couple as well. Really, almost any discipline under the STEM. The STEM bracket, we basically have a representative.
So there really is no one specific person that NASA is looking for.
That's true.
Jessica, did you have to take that 2-hour online assessment? And if so, what was involved in that? Is that a weeding out process?
So I actually have not completed that assessment. When I applied in 2016 was when it opened up as part of the 2017 class. The online assessment was not part of the application process. It's actually a new part of the process this year. And the intent is just to get a sense early on of the kind of competency of the applicant to give us a bit of a heads up.
Okay. Right now, there are only 48 astronauts in the active Corps. More obviously going to be needed when United States companies start flying again from U.S. soil on larger aircraft. What's the timeline from the close of application in March to the weaning process, to the selection process, to the training, and then to the flying?
So from an astronaut selection standpoint, we anticipate that we will announce the next class of NASA astronauts in the early summer of 2021. So it takes a bit of time to get from the announcement phase to the picking astronauts. We go through obviously several steps and phases of the process to make sure that we are treating each application carefully. We know that a lot of folks have dreamt of being an astronaut since they were probably kids, and then certainly to make sure that we come out with the right selected folks when we're ready to announce. The training piece, Jessica?
Yes, so following selection, the astronaut candidates will enter a 2-year kind of basic initial training period. So we'll cover everything from learning how to spacewalk to learning how to fly jets to learning the Russian language. And then once that 2-year training period is complete, then they will be eligible to be selected for a mission. And these missions that they could be assigned to, that we could be assigned to, include have several opportunities. We are starting the commercial crew program, launching this year. So that will include new vehicles to get to the International Space Station, as well as the Artemis program, as we look forward to putting the first woman and next man on the moon in 2024.
So Jessica, did anything about the training shock you, surprise you? Were you intrigued by any of it? And what's your future look like most immediately?
Yes, so the training process was highly variable. You know, no day was the same during that 2 years. So that made it really fun. I also really enjoyed the process of leaning on the expertise of my various classmates. We talk about having our different backgrounds and skill sets, and so to be able to lean on each other throughout the process was really neat. As far as my future, I'm excited to be a part of the team and to eventually be assigned to a mission in one of the opportunities that I just listed.
And when will you hear?
Not sure yet. Could be a little while. We'll see.
So you really have to like other people because you'll be in tight quarters. For people who are really considering this right now, some of those things you may not think about is you have to get along well with others. You're going to be living, working, sleeping in really tight quarters. Can't be afraid of heights.
It's true.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Anything else?
Yeah, I think the teamwork aspect of it, the interpersonal skills side of it is really important. No matter what mission you end up on, that interpersonal capability to work as a team player is really going to be really important.
So you talked about STEM and you talked about science, math. I think you're also talking about STEAM, right? You want someone who perhaps is artistic, because they will have to linguistically be able to absorb the Russian language and be able to speak and write Cyrillic?
Yeah, so right, we require the technical degree, but certainly I think the A in STEAM is critically important when we look at the role that NASA astronauts play in communicating more broadly about NASA's mission. Right, they essentially serve as the human representatives of all things human spaceflight. So certainly that is important.
And Jessica, thanks for being with us. Have I forgotten anything?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Get out there and apply.
Very good. Thank you both for being with us.
Thank you.
Thanks.